Episode 923.
Oh, that was like a jingle.
Right, like a local commercial for
yes, that's what it sounded. I was going to say local radio station. Like that said, episode 923. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's
Thanks,
good.
Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. I spent the day a while, or maybe it was like a few days ago, like retrellising and doing all the work to like zhuzh all the plants, you know, they get a little overgrown and
I do. I
they
love
start
that day.
getting like, and then you just put all the trellises out, you put all the posts up, you know, attach them.
Yes.
And they're just sitting taller. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have got to you guys a long time ago. I didn't know you were in such bad shape.
It's always like that. The day that
it turns into a jungle.
Yeah, the day that you dive into your plants and sort it all out and you're like, oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah. And then I learned this little thing on like Instagram or, you know, where this, you know, because I get a lot of plant content. You were asking me like, what kind of content do I get? Plant content. And it was this woman was saying, if you have plants that look like they're struggling and maybe more than other plants, it might not be anything you're doing wrong. You need to go and see what's in the soil, like not just what's in the soil, but sometimes they do things at the nursery, like those Chinese money plants that are always like wrapped up and braided together. Most of them have electrical tape at the very root of it because it helps train them to go together, and they leave it on there, which will eventually suffocate the plant. So I looked into this and I had like 3 plants that were suffocating because they were wrapped in this plastic stuff that you wouldn't even notice because the soil and roots had grown around it.
Wow.
But I got in there and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yes, Sarah apologizes to her.
I do.
Foliage a lot.
I was like,
I've seen.
I didn't know. So now they seem happier and like not mad at me. And
that's a nice feeling.
We're doing great in here. And
good.
It's looking like a jungle. So
good. This has been a bad year for our orchids.
Oh, well.
We've had great luck in our house. The orchids have rebloomed year after year, and that's like, you always feel like
you're the ultimate plant person. I've never been able to do that. I'm just like,
but
garbage.
I think a lot of it's just that where the room they're in, the sun, whatever. But this year, I don't know if it's because of something we're doing or just that we haven't had much sun at all.
I think it's that.
Yeah, probably. But this year they're just sitting there,
Susie,
probably mad like I am.
I replaced a lot of my light bulbs with grow lights.
Yeah.
That's made a big difference. Just like regular. Yeah, you could do it. You buy them cheap on Amazon. Just get grow lights.
We have grow lights.
Put them, I put grow lights everywhere. Every plant, all the plant sections have grow lights. And that's made a big difference.
I'm going to tell Adam because.
Yeah. They're like.
Thanks for the tip.
You know, you can get them like the strips or, you know, or the little posts that you just put in and they have a little ring over it. And get one of those over that section. It'll stimulate it.
Okay. I will work on that.
Yeah. And there's like a different color spectrum for budding flowers.
Maybe next year I'll get some orchid buds.
Yeah. There you go.
And then I'll credit you. I'll say shout out to Sarah.
Thanks, Suze.
Okay. I have a personal anecdote for you.
Yes.
I thought this was unique to me. Then I told my sister Renee about it, and she had something happen the same and worse. And I thought, oh shit, maybe this is like a bigger thing.
Okay.
We all know as ladies, going to the gym is fraught.
Yeah.
There's the leerers.
Yeah.
There's just sort of the people wanting to make small talk, like.
There's the correctors.
There's the mansplain scenarios.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can happen at the gym for women that are unpleasant. I am in an adversarial relationship with a man at my gym. And the other day, it was the second time he did something to me, and I am assuming he's doing it to other women.
Okay. Tell
me if I'm crazy or if this is a thing or what. I don't want to describe him, but I will insofar as to say he is older, maybe 60. And I don't know if he speaks English.
Okay.
I'm not sure because I've never heard him speak, and he has a look of somebody who was maybe born elsewhere.
Got
it. Okay. He's there every day. I'm there every day. I'm approaching a bench to use the free weights. I get to the bench. I put my phone on it. So I am there.
You've claimed the bench.
I've claimed the bench.
Yes. The official gym policy says that bench is now yours. You're getting your weights. Got it. Okay.
He approaches from another direction seconds later, but close enough where we're both still standing. And he just points to himself, points to the bench, and points back to himself, as if to say, that's my bench. This is the second time he did it. The first time he did it, I thought, oh, he must have been using this and I didn't see it. And then I approached it thinking it was free because literally no one was around it.
Right.
But at the first time I was like, okay, I'm missing something, and he was using it. This time I know for sure he wasn't because I had a full field of vision.
Okay.
And I got there first. He came from far away.
Right. Okay.
And I just stared at him. And the reason it didn't become a conversation, of course, is because he is pantomiming.
Right.
There are no words coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming maybe he can't speak English. And so I just stared at him and walked away. And I'm looking at other people, and they're all looking at me too, like, well, that was weird.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
And so since it was the second time, I know this is something he does. And I was telling the story to my sister, and she was like, Sue, you are not going to believe this. But that happened to me, and it was worse because she was literally using the machine like in the middle of her sets with her ear pods in, and some guy goes, hey, are you almost done there? Because can I cut in?
Oh no.
And you're so caught off guard that you just say like, okay.
Yeah, I can't do that.
And so she's like, I asked my husband like what he would do. And he was like, I would just say like, you can use it when I'm done.
Yeah.
But I said he would never be in that position.
Right.
Because no man is going up to another man at the gym and saying, are you almost done? Can I have that? Or, hey, this is my bench.
Yep. I've experienced the same thing.
Are you serious?
And I go, I have 2 more reps, or I have 3 more. I'll tell him how many more.
You've experienced what she's experienced.
Yes.
What about in my case?
No, that's weird.
What do I say though?
That almost feels like, are we sure he's saying that bench he's pantomiming that, not like he's asking to help you.
No, he's saying that's my bench.
No,
I had it.
This is, I would hold my ground. And I
was so mad that I didn't.
Yeah.
That when I was leaving, I just gave him the finger as I walked out because he was staring at me. I mean, this was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I gave him the finger and I was like, I guess we're just doing signals. So I guess that's the one I want to give you.
Okay.
I guess the thing that I think is relatable, even if you've not gone to the gym or this hasn't happened to you, is that feeling when you walk away of like, shame that you didn't stand up for yourself.
The metacognitions, that is it. The feelings about the feelings. That, like the same thing when I told you that I got assaulted in Italy and that guy grabbed me and I didn't know what to do and I just like froze, and then I'm mad at myself that I didn't stand. That is it. That's a metacognition. That's the feelings about the feelings. They're the worst because it butts up against our belief about who we are. And that is so difficult because we think we're going to react one way, but we have to give ourselves the I don't know, grace and understanding to know that you reacted like that because of learned behaviors and expected behaviors, societal messages.
Yeah.
This was so far beyond your control in those moments, and you can't beat yourself up for that. And it gives you information that you can do differently. This is a good opportunity to do something different next time, and like honor that part of you that feels those feelings about the feelings, you know?
I hate this fucking guy. He's my worst enemy now, besides whistlers and Mount Everest mountaineers.
Climbers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Thanks for listening.
I gotcha.
I'm going to have to trim that down. That was a little too long.
No, I love every bit of it.
Sarah Louise.
Yes, Susan Louise.
We have to talk about that plane crash with one survivor.
Wait, I don't even know about this plane crash.
Oh my God, Sarah, you're going to die.
Is this the one in India?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw footage, but I didn't hear any of the stories. And it was almost like, oh, there's too much, so.
And there was. Okay. So there's a plane crash in India, 242 people dead. One survivor.
Oh my God.
He was in seat A11, okay, everybody?
That's the seat to get.
A11.
Jeez.
And it was, he exited through, that's what's bonky. Not only did he survive, he walked the fuck out of that plane.
I saw it catch on fire. I mean, that was explosion.
He sauntered out, holding his phone. He did a video call, called his parents. He's like 40. He called his parents. He was like, hey, I was in a plane crash. What?
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen the film Unbreakable?
Yeah, it
starring
feels kind
Bruce
of like
Willis?
that. Or Final Destinations. Shit like that.
What's the plot there?
Where they're supposed to be on this plane. Oh my God, I love that I'm explaining this story to you.
I know everyone knows this movie, right? Okay.
Yeah, and it is the reason why a lot of us cannot drive behind semi-trucks with wood.
I have
stacked
heard
up.
this problem. Okay.
So the plot of this movie is all these students are on a trip together, and they're supposed to get on this plane, and one of them has this like feeling, a premonition kind of thing. It's like I think sees the plane explode
In his mind.
And it's like, we can't get on that plane.
Yeah.
And then doesn't get on the plane. A bunch of them don't get on the plane. And then the plane does, like what he saw happens.
Yeah.
But then it's like death comes for you, and people start dying in the order of the seats that they were in on the airplane. Like whoever should have been killed first, wherever you're sitting is how you're like, you're destined.
The rich people were dying first then.
The final that is your final destination. And so now they're all dying one by one in these crazy, mysterious accident ways in the order that they were seated on the plane.
Shit.
I know. And then I think the main character like escapes death again. And then it's like, oh, nope, you gotta go back. And
you can't cheat death.
You can't cheat. Oh, look, I have goosebumps.
This is what I just said to Sarah. Time is undefeated. You can't avoid it. We're all dying. Okay. Oh shit. I don't know what the future holds. Okay. So I texted my brother and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like that film Unbreakable that we both love. And he's like, yeah, but like, how's his mental health going to be in 10 years? Like, let's
the survivor
check back.
guilt. The survivor guilt would be, I think he's in shock.
I was like, yeah, unless he has two superpowers.
Like, oh my God, the survivor guilt.
His brother died.
Oh no, that he's going to have a hard time. Oh my God.
Of course. And it's like, how?
He needs to do EMDR right now. Oh.
Well, we have to tell him.
That is what I want to get trained in, is the emergency response EMDR, where like you go to those sites where there's, a school shooting or a mass tragedy, and you just help people there
in the acute moment.
Yes, to not store that in a way that is more traumatic than it already needs to. Oh my God.
Yeah, because
I want to help everybody.
I can't accept.
Right.
Yeah, that every other human being on that plane is dead, and there's not like somebody who was living and then died. Like, they were dead.
Yeah, he needs a support group.
And then
right
there is
now.
no group. There aren't anybody.
Well, there could be like a survivor support group.
Yeah.
Like people who were in it, like, you know, that I feel like you need to hear other people. You have to connect to other people.
I want to know
really
his
isolated.
explanation for why he thinks
he survived.
Physically, just the physics of it. Like what happened in that moment that you think allowed you to cheat death?
Well, he probably had his tray table up in his seat in its upright position.
Do you think, though?
No.
Oh.
I think that's the most ridiculous. No, I was making a joke.
Oh.
But I do think it's like the difference between like 1/2 an inch, like 2 degrees, you know. Is that really?
It's just a freak thing.
Yeah. Maybe he braced. Maybe he did like the.
That's what I need to know.
I want to know too.
I was like, okay.
A11 sounds like a lucky number.
It does.
It looks nice. It matches.
I agree.
Like the feels like. Mm-hmm.
So it's a window
clean.
seat in the emergency exit area. He opened it up.
Wow. And
it's in flames. And he sauntered out. And I mean, he's worse for wear, of course. But so I look forward to hearing more about that. I just can't quit thinking about it. That's all.
Yeah. I didn't know that part of it.
Bonkers. All right.
Jeez.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Ooh, I'm going to say yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah. And here's why. I felt like when I won't call it love at first sight.
Okay.
I will call it, I believe that we have multiple like incarnations.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that there are a certain number of people that are connected to you in different lifetimes that when you meet, it's like your soul knows them. And it feels like you've known them for years. You are one of them. So the second I met you, it felt like I've known this woman for years. I have a connection with her. I would call our meeting love at first sight in that way. If there's another, like...
Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh my God.
I totally mean that.
That is so beautiful.
Oh my God, you're going to make me tear up. I'm getting emotional. I felt that. Like, I'm like, I love this. That's why we need more words for love. That it's like more, because I felt that with you. I felt that with my friend Dave Edler, who was my camp counselor, who now is one of my closest friends and I've known for 30 plus years.
Like a soul connection.
Soul connection. And I feel that with my current girlfriend, where it's like,
I feel like that with her too.
I know, because she's probably been somehow related to you. Like, if
maybe
we
were all
that's
friends.
what I'm saying. If you were like, somehow it was like in a past relationship, I don't know, it was like mother-daughter and she was you know, who knows? Like, but there's this feeling of my soul knows your soul. And I have about 5 of those people, you know, not very many.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really interesting.
That is what I will say. I believe love at first sight is when you're like, my soul knows you.
I love that.
Okay.
And I would agree with you. I guess I'm not so sure about the incarnation element, but it doesn't really matter because it's the same foundation, which is that like there's some sort of vibration or spirit sense of like, something beyond this plane, right?
Yes.
Where you're like,
you know
we're connected.
You know when you are such a beautiful harmonizer. When you listen to the radio and you hear a song and then you sing to it and they sing the harmony and those pair together and you're like, oh, that sounds beautiful together. They're 2 notes that just really a vibration, is it not? And they pair well and you're like, that sounds good. It feels good. It's in harmony. That's what I feel like is energetically happening. People are like, this vibration is the same. It's in frequency. It's in harmony. It comes together and it's like, woo, look at this song. And you can feel it. I get goosebumps. Do you get goosebumps?
I don't.
No.
But I know exactly what you're talking about because that is my feeling.
Yes.
That like, I can't, I have people in my life. I call them the magical people. And I always say I'm in the business of collecting magical people. And I don't know what it is, but there's something about them where I'm like, oh, you're stuck with me. I always tell them that too. I warn them.
Yep.
And they can't escape. I am going to be in your life now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we are connected and I don't know what it is.
Yep. My friend Allie is like that too. Shout out to Allie.
Yeah. Shout out to Allie.
Gosh, we're supposed to be like, that's it. There's nothing you could do. Yeah. You know?
Okay. The reason why I brought it up is because there was a study done recently of about 5,000 single American adults. And they polled them and asked, do you believe in love at first sight? Yeah. 60% of them said that they believe in it. And the reason why this is remarkable is because it's a 30% increase from 10 years ago.
Whoa!
What is happening?
And the other thing that's interesting is they're single people, which means they're the people who are, we would say, unluckiest in love, but are the most optimistic about
They believe that it's possible, and they may have had it already, but like it wasn't sustained in terms of romantic connection. Like they may have even been in love at first sight before.
What do you think explains that?
I cannot believe a 30% increase in 10 years.
10 years.
Let's think about what's happened.
Okay.
Well, Trump came around.
We have Trump. We have COVID. We have, what could those things have done?
Yeah. What could be causing so many people to be like,
okay.
This is a thing.
Could it be the more isolated and disconnected we become, the stronger that need for connection? And I would maybe I would be interested to see how they would rank their loneliness. Like maybe there is a correlation between loneliness and the hope that maybe there's a protective factor in there biologically, that if you feel lonely, there's like a hopefulness of,
but it won't last.
It won't last. Yeah. That we need that biologically to keep going, to procreate, to survive. That feels like a good theory.
It does. Because it says that about half of the people saying that they believed in it also said they had experienced it. And that shows that even though they believe in love at first sight, they don't necessarily think it lasts forever because they're single now, right? So clearly it didn't last.
And maybe increased loneliness makes you reflect more, and then you become, you know how you look back with like more. Do
you think regret?
Maybe there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, because here's what else it said, and it's like it's a kind of a heartbreaker. Oh my God. This article, which was in the Atlantic, was trying to figure it out. And they were saying that the dating landscape, with like online dating and all that, has sort of gone. It used to be like a slow burn or a slow build where like you'd go on a date and like, they're fine, but like, we'll see. And there was more of like a time period where you could see what happened.
Yeah.
And now it's like all or nothing.
Yeah, there's a courting. Yeah. And now it's
like you go on that first date and they're either like fucking hot like you're like, I don't want that. Or you're like all in.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that causes people then to think that
I know exactly where we're going. If I don't have that, then it means that this isn't a thing. Or if I do have that, and it doesn't work, then that means that it was the one who got away. Okay, the other thing that I'm thinking, I have not watched any like reality dating shows, but just recently there's a lesbian one called I Kissed a Girl, and it's British.
No way.
I'm obsessed.
Where is it?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Watch. I'm obsessed. And the way that they meet, like, it's like, The Bachelor, they get out of the car and they meet, shake hands, say something. These guys start with a kiss. You get out, you don't say anything, you meet them, you kiss. And they've been matched up, and then
let's do that.
It is wild. It's so good. But here's what I have noticed, that a lot of them will say like, oh, I there's a friendship, it feels good, but I didn't feel that initial spark. I didn't feel that chemistry, And so maybe there's this, we're being conditioned to believe that this, we all know that love is being romanticized on reality television anyway. And you imagine this like 4-year stretch of time while we're all in lockdown during COVID, not dating as much, not having those interactions, but then watching The Bachelor and all these shows where that romanticized fantasy of love is being reinforced. It might get us to think that if we don't have that, it's not magical and it's not, but
and that everything is becoming black and white. Like, like the political landscape is so much more polarized, and like everything is either like it's electric or nothing.
Right. Because on these shows, it's like, I got to pick between part two. Which one gives me those feelings? Even though this
reality
one,
TV.
I actually think that this might be a factor, because I noticed that when you're saying that, I'm like, wait a sec, that kind of sounds like what a lot of these women were saying when they're picking the other, when they're having to choose between two, and why they didn't pick one who seems like a perfectly good, reasonable match when they're like,
it is.
I know it.
It's so fucked up.
Dude, we're so fucking good at this.
We're good, but we've done this. We are reality TV.
I know.
Garbage. Here, okay, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there's more. Okay.
Good episode, Suze. I'm already loving it.
You're making it good, Sarah.
No, it's a Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman situation. We know that.
Right. I'm Scottie Pippen. Okay. 2 questions to consider before, we go too deep is like, what is love? What is love? But also, what is first sight? Is it literal, like, oh, I see them across the room? Or is it like I had a conversation and it's like, those 2 things matter in terms of how you answer it as well. Okay, putting that aside, now, they were talking in the article about these psychological ideas that they call destiny beliefs.
Okay.
And this is like the idea of like, there's somebody out there for me.
Yeah, that whole twin flame thing is real popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And psychologists are saying like, this is setting up like unrealistic expectations. And then what happens is when you think you've met somebody like that, then you're totally committed to this relationship.
Yep.
And you are doing whatever you can to avoid like losing that person.
Absolutely.
And so you're all in, and like you're going to do whatever it takes, even if they're hot garbage in the end. Like you've just decided they're meant for you.
It is mutual positive projection on steroids, where you are going to ignore certain things. And it's the sunken cost fallacy. I'm already in. I'm already dating this person. What?
No, go ahead.
That's right.
Absolutely. It's just like when you think back and you're like, oh, I did that.
Yeah. Or it's like, I'm already in for a penny, in for a pound kind of thing,
Yeah.
So, and then there's what will I say when I've already said that twin flame documentary where this is what that reminds me of.
Yes.
Where people, and this is a response to a loneliness epidemic. This is a way to cope with that.
Yes. And it's
what we really need are healthier connections.
It's disturbing because I also have something I want to talk about like families and how people are treating each other in like biological families. And it's sort of in line with this, where like we are fucking things up. Like we are these ideas about how people interact that are messing up relationships. Like thinking that it needs to be electric when really like
right. And actually, a therapist will tell you that's not who you should go for, because there's a difference between lust and love. In fact, one of the cast members from Love on the Spectrum says this, where he said, like, love, we can't just be going for like lust. The difference between like love and lust is whatever he says. Or like that's what separates us from the animals, he says, or something like our ability to like separate the two.
Yeah.
And that's not having a strong physiological reaction to somebody just means that they are stimulating arousal. And arousal is not necessarily a positive, like a good thing.
Yeah.
It could
be very unstable.
Yes.
Unstable.
Emotional instability. Yeah. And if you're somebody who came from maybe an upbringing that was very unstable, and there's a familiarity in that. So what you're really feeling or recognizing is the familiarity of chaos and instability and high emotional reactivity. And that is like bright candle burns, or, bright flame burns quickly kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not what we want. We want instead somebody who makes us feel calm and makes us feel regulated,
and safe.
It feels safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like to be your true self.
Yes. It feels calm in your heart, not activated, like I have to do something or else. If this person leaves, oh no, I'm lost. That nope, not the best. What's happening there?
They were saying too that because of the way the world is right now, it's chaotic and dating is so wild, and that there's also an element of like women work now and can handle their own shit, and if you're going to get married, that there's a perception among single folks that like it needs to be dynamo, or it's not worth it. I'd rather be alone.
Right.
And so that could be fueling that 30% increase in feeling like love at first sight is like the thing.
Yes.
Where it's
got to really feel like better than what I got.
They don't want a slow burn. They want all or nothing.
Right.
And nothing is okay for them. They're fine just staying single.
And think about all the not what your brain might perceive as a risk, that like subconsciously you might say, there are a lot of risks that, if I were to get married and have children and start a family, that is a hard thing to do. That is comes with a lot of sacrifices and challenges sometimes. And you think, I got to feel a lot of emotion in order to be willing to take on those risks.
Yeah.
And that might be a subconscious thing that you're not even aware is going on, because your brain recognizes challenges and its job is to like maintain homeostasis and keep itself safe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting because it's such a dramatic shift culturally in such a short period. And it's like, what's going on? I want to know. Yeah.
Because you don't see that 30, it's not like we've all of a sudden gotten more romantic and there's 30% increase in marriages or 30% increase in relationships. It's just a concept.
A belief about what.
Yes. Yeah. Expectations. Great
word usage. Because that is right. That's exactly right. And expectations are so consequential.
And what creates expectations?
Culture, context,
reality shows.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Well, that's culture. It's
Right,
like
exactly.
fucking crappy culture. Okay. Well, anyway, something to think about.
Yeah. Fascinating, Suze.
I'll tell you what else you should think about, and that is your finances. And if you're anything like me, your life will be dramatically improved.
Oh, yes.
And I am not overstating it.
I know you're not. And it's rocket money.
It's rocket money, baby.
You know what's funny is I hear these rocket money ads where I swear to God, they are just duplicating our conversations about rocket money, because it'll be like two podcast hosts that are clearly like actors that are like talking about how, oh my God. And I'm like, that's like what our conversation
That makes me mad because I'm telling the truth.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, we are not actors. Like, I think they just took our conversation and then turned it into a script and had actors do it, because I'm like, it is the most honest, true, like, we are living, walking, breathing examples of how this super easy, free to download finance app has totally put us in control of our spending, helps you find, cancel all your unwanted subscriptions, things that you're paying too much for. And they'll even cancel them on your behalf so you don't have to work. They can also negotiate bills on your behalf so that they're lower. Hello.
Sarah's doing the heavy lifting here, and I'm loving it because she's right about everything. I don't even have
copy to look at. I'm just saying this because I know this is just like from my heart. This is, they saved me $1,200 on my auto insurance.
That's how much I paid, saved on, I can't say where. But on a phone scenario.
Yes. Yep.
And here's the thing. Like, it's like you guys think we're just saying this, but we are not.
Right. Just try it.
It is the proof is in the pudding. You're going to download it. You're going to start using it, and you're going to be like, I get it. Because we keep getting DMs about it.
Yeah. If you're like, for me, I'm somebody with ADHD, and if it's overwhelming to me, I'll ignore it. And so what this has done is this has helped make my finances not overwhelming and made it really clear. Like, I've had that feeling of like, you don't want to go to the mailbox because you don't want to open all of the mail in there. And then you actually go through it and everything's junk anyway. And you're like, oh, why was I so worried? That's kind of this feeling where I'm not worried, and it takes away the anxiety and fears that I have about finances.
I want to put in their suggestion box. I don't know if it is still true, but I don't think you can get it in Canada.
Oh, what?
I think maybe. So like, Canada, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. And I know there's so many of our listeners. We're so sorry.
As they would say.
Yes.
And Rocket Money, if you're listening, put that in your suggestion box because those people need some help over there too. Yes. Okay, here's the scoop. They have over 5 million users. They saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. You can cancel your unwanted subscriptions, reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/braincandy today. That's rocketmoney.com/braincandy, rocketmoney.com/braincandy. We love it. Okay.
Don't you feel like you're kind of winning because you've saved more than what their average user has saved?
Yeah, I'm almost like
double.
Well, right. I guess I should be embarrassed that I was
spending that much.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm so thankful because I've saved thousands of dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is the article I was referring to when I was talking before. New York Times did an article, and it was about the connection between childlessness and therapy culture.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, I can see it.
It's intense. So the gist is that the writer was saying that all of, I don't know, millennials, I guess, that sort of era, they're therapy enthusiasts. They love it. And Gen Z. and they're going to therapy. They're learning about themselves. But there's been a bit of an overcorrection. I mean, therapy jargon and whatever has been used by people to sort of get them out of all kinds of like functioning adult stuff. I hear about this all the time from like people that are managers at stores and restaurants and stuff. They're like, these people are calling off just because they like feel bad vibes today.
Right.
Stuff like that. But this article was about how like when you go to therapy, often part of it is just sort of reframing your childhood, unpacking what you've been through in your lifetime. And sometimes that includes, you know, like considering ways in which your parents' choices have had an impact on you. And for everyone, including my son and me and every human being, your parents and their foibles, you know, aren't always ideal. They have effects on us.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember that we are viewing our parents through the perspective of a child. And your brain is like a file cabinet. So you experience something, and then at the age you are when this happens, you make a little note that you stick in that file cabinet. Then when you experience a similar situation that reminds you of that, your brain opens up that file cabinet, and rather than using your awareness at the current moment, takes the notes from when you were 6, 7, 8 and applies them to what you're experiencing right now. So in therapy, we want to go back through those file cabinets and say, hey, remember when you saw this interaction between your parents, or your mom, you know, lost her job and you thought it was all your fault, and you created this feeling of like, you got to save the family by being the funny one or whatever, that wasn't your job, and that there was other things going on. It gives you kind of like perspective. Oh yeah, she was going through a lot of stuff. Yeah, I couldn't have helped her. I was just 6. What did I know how to do? And allows you to edit those pages from the awareness that you have in the current moment. Yeah.
And for better or for worse, Americans have redefined words that like harm or abuse or neglect or trauma or whatever.
I know.
And they've expanded them. They've expanded what those words mean to include struggles that were previously considered to be sort of parts of life. Yeah, just...
There's a difference between being anxious, having the feeling of anxiety, and having an anxiety disorder or generalized anxiety.
And there's a difference between discomfort and trauma.
Absolutely. A lot of things are, so much of the work that I do with clients is helping them with the expectations of what therapy is going to do. That there is no amount of therapy that makes us not feel feelings. It makes us not as affected by those feelings. There was this great study that was done on monks and people who had dedicated their lifetime to meditation and mindfulness and being present and in the moment. And there's this belief that, monks must not feel, have that kind of emotional reaction. When you hook them up to all of the, EEGs and everything and look at their emotional reactivity, and you think of that on a graph, for most of us, we have the experience and our emotions peak, go to 10. And then they slowly go down as we, realize that we're not in danger, we're safe, and it's kind of like this slow, back down to normal. Whereas these monks, they experience the heightened emotion the same as all of us do, to the same extent. But then there's a sudden drop-off.
They just recalibrate.
Yes, they can regulate their emotions better. That is what we're aiming for. We are not aiming for the elimination of all negative feelings. That would make us numb and not human. And that
wouldn't be great.
It would be terrible for survival.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that. We need those. They're super important. We instead need to learn how to manage the emotions, which I feel like sometimes I can see maybe a therapist wanting their client to like them. I've even fallen guilty to this and not holding them accountable to what they can do to learn how to manage those emotions. And it's more like I want other people to change, or I need to limit my interactions with those people who trigger me. No. People are always going to, quote unquote, trigger you. You're always going to have reactions. Let's learn how to manage emotional reactivity like the Buddhist monks.
Yeah. And we're not all great at that.
No, we need practice. Nobody ever taught us. And if we also, I have to add this, if we feel that feeling and then think, oh no, I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't have this. I should be like fine. More anxiety, more feelings, because what we're doing is it's that resisting it, which causes suffering. Pain times resistance equals suffering.
That has been such an important equation for me.
You have to resist the suffering. Okay, it is what it is. This is the situation. This sucks right now, and that's okay that it sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, is just knowing it's fine. It's okay that you're unhappy or whatever.
Right. And it's not a permanent state. Can we manage and work through and move through? And the more you do, that's why, we've talked before about people in like triathlons and their ability to like push through, and how we need a little bit of that discomfort, and that helps us. Like it trains the mind to say, look what you can survive. And if you could survive this thing, you could survive all this other stuff. It's really, really, really good for your brain.
It's a useful tool and experience.
Yes, it builds emotional resilience, which is what is really, it helps us get through life.
Well, okay, so in this case, it was talking about how, I'm sure you've seen this, adult children are increasingly likely to publicly and even righteously cut off contact with their parent.
Yeah.
And, they'll talk about like it's abusive or they're traumatic or whatever. Or they'll say like, we are not aligned in values. Like, my mom is on the Trump train. I am not. I think a lot of people have felt I can't abide this worldview. I need to have this boundary that's very severe, whatever. And I am not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm just knowing that for me, like, I don't want to do that. Like, because it's not abusive. It's just a difference in
I think that's the important
values.
thing to differentiate between. What's
abuse?
Yes. What is this, and this relationship
like,
causing you to experience? What
are the consequences? What are the risks?
I don't want anybody to put themselves in a position where they continue to be exposed to harm. That is not what we're looking for. But if this is learning how to...
If it's just like that you don't like it.
Right. Or they cause some sort of response in you, that... There may be more value, not maybe is, more value in learning how to...
Yes.
Recognize that people are more than one thing.
Yes.
That is such an important thing, and that there is value that we can get from our relationship with even people who are so different than us. And actually, there's probably the most value that we can get from people who cause an extreme reaction in us, because that
I can't
training
tell
ground,
you.
to learn how to that that's almost something that now I look forward to. Like situations where I was like, oh my gosh, I am so triggered in this moment. I want to cut off all. Now I almost welcome it because it's a test of how healed I am. You
said it, Sarah.
Peace is not being in a place of total stillness and calm. It's being in the midst of chaos and finding that calm in your own heart. That is the real test of emotional stability, of mental wellness. How can you control and regulate your emotions when you are dysregulated? And that is going to happen. That is going to happen forever, and I always love to play the game. What would 80-year-old me think? And when I think about those people who have cut off from their family, and maybe are doing so to just prove a point or to avoid difficult emotions or having to do the hard work, I would say, what would 80-year-old you think? And 80-year-old them might feel regret. But if you are in a situation where, like me, where my father was abusive and and that was denied for so long and continuously, my 80-year-old self...
I never even question any of that.
My 80-year-old self is like, fuck no, you don't need that. Like, do your own thing. You are good. Recognize the family that you have. Work through the challenges that you have with the people that, it's very clear. 80-year-old you knows in which one it will have regrets about or not. So really do some
40-year-old you and 30-year-old you does too.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And if it's just about like, I don't enjoy this or it makes me mad, then that's not it.
It ain't it. It's the same as those parents who try, what are they called? Like steam.
Oh, yes.
Steamroll, snowplow, or like, I'm going to get rid of any bad feelings. And we know that really makes it so those kids don't have any emotional resilience.
Yeah.
So we have to face those challenges and have the tough conversations, and even things like, I thought you were mad at me when you did this. No, I wasn't. Like, all that, it's so healthy. We do it all the time. And it is so good. And it makes us so close. And it is so healthy and so wonderful. And I am so grateful for all my friendships where people have been able to say, hey, this thing that you did, I didn't like. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Relationships, friendships, all of the above.
True love welcomes that feedback.
Yes.
Because it's safe.
Yes, it's safe. You got to work through those attachments, and people got to get good therapists. Sometimes I think therapists, like I know it. I know when I was a baby therapist and I fell into that, I just want my clients to like me and to them to not, and now I'm like, no, I'm in line with their goals. Their goal is to feel better and improve these relationships. That may mean you have to confront difficult feelings. And then you're going to relate it to having children. Like this, like, is it just like the parents thing?
So the article was sort of tying into the fact that probably deep inside, millennials and people that are delaying or avoiding having children know that the expectations that they have placed upon their own parents are unrealistic.
Absolutely.
And that they are not going to be able to do better.
Absolutely.
And so it's contributing to this decision of like, maybe I don't want to do this, right?
Yeah.
Because the expectation is actually the problem. Like, we are expecting parents to know we can't be everything, right? And so they were using some of the famous therapy content creators as examples. Here's some of the stuff that they say. They claim that like childhood trauma isn't just like if you're in an abusive home or you're in a freaking car accident or whatever.
I hate this.
That it's also just like feeling unseen.
No, those are negative experiences. not
it's like
necessarily
that's what they
trauma.
Should say. It's like when I'm in line at Starbucks and it's taking too long. It fucking sucks, but it's not traumatic. Calm down. Here are some of the other examples of what they are claiming is like traumatic. Right. Or like evidence that you've experienced.
Right.
Childhood trauma.
We call it trauma with a capital T.
Okay. You're a people pleaser. You've been called an old soul.
Oh, no.
You procrastinate a lot. You have a hard time asking for help. You feel awkward when people genuinely check on you about your feelings. Those types of things are being trotted out as like, well, you must have endured something real.
Now, this is why EMDR is so good. I could go in and I would take an extensive history and find the negative cognitions, and then work on those negative cognitions that maybe created a belief or an expectation, but it created that again from the viewpoint of that child and not from the viewpoint of the person, the brain in a state of fear, alert, alarm, and terror, not calm, because that calm, wise mind has a totally different understanding. It's like when we say, well, deep down, I know they really loved me. That's who we need to be running the show. The deep down you. We're not letting the surface level reactive you decide who to cut off. We got to talk to the deep down you who knows, well, deep down, I know that they were trying their best and da-da-da-da. I help clients get in touch with the deep down you.
That's a really nice thing. I really love that you said that, and that I'm going to keep with me, because
you know, when you say that deep down, I know da-da-da.
It's like that is you observing intention.
Yes, that's wise mind you. That is the wise mind. Deep down you, invite her out all the time. Like that who should be running the show. Because deep down, I know they don't da-da-da-da. Yeah, operate from that, and I'll help you.
Sarah, write a whole book about that.
Thank you,
Susie. That is really important.
Yeah.
And something everyone needs to be doing.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're just like, you made me feel bad about myself for 5 minutes.
Well, if you're looking to really heal, reach out to me, Sarah at Solutions OC. That's solutions with an S. solutionsoc.com. Or you can visit solutionsoc.com and you can send me an email on there. Or I'll give you my phone number, my therapy phone number right here, 310-954-5323. You can call me anytime and send a text. If you are a California resident, that I will be happy to work with you on these things, because it will be, I'm in the business of getting clients out of therapy and feeling good in their life.
This is great.
Yes.
Adam, put all that info on the screen.
Oh, you're the best.
Because we need people healing.
Yeah.
This is fucking annoying. Okay. And then lastly,
good article though. So good
article.
Good
Last
combo.
thing was just like sort of summing up that here's what it amounts to. The parents have this like never ending obligation to their children, even when they're adults. Mm-hmm. They're like, these expectations are like, extend to every area of the life and never end. Mm-hmm. And that the children have no obligation to the parent.
That's the problem.
That is fucked up.
That I don't like. That you will see that when you do the work on you and you do the work on, oh my God, and I see it in my clients. They come back. It's so much fun when they come back and they're like, oh my God, I tried that. It was so easy. And the parents didn't need to change or do anything different. they'll have a totally different experience.
Reframing.
Yes, I got you. You don't need to, you could go to Christmas, you could go to Thanksgiving, you can have the family event, you can invite them to the wedding.
Oh my God.
And it'll be okay. I will help you manage your own a good therapist will help you regulate your own emotions. And
Sarah is,
and ChatGPT is not a therapist.
It sure isn't. In fact,
in the same
it's making
way,
people crazy.
Yeah. In the same way, going to the mall and sitting in a massage chair for 10 minutes is not the same as a therapeutic deep tissue massage that you'd get. In fact, it might do more harm. It's the same. ChatGPT is the massage chair of therapy.
I swear, the more you read about people losing their marbles because of ChatGPT.
What are we doing?
I don't know anyone that lost their mind over a therapist.
No. Right.
Okay. Anyway, I have a gazillion other things, but we're out of time.
What a good episode.
You're a good episode.
That was very Pee Wee Herman. You're a good episode.
Why don't you marry it?
All right, then I will.
I mean, what fun it is to hear a talented therapist talk about mental health compared to what is cooking in the world today. So if you are in California, reach out because what a treasure.
Oh, thanks, Suze.
We love you. We want to keep doing the show. If you want us to keep doing the show, go to thebraincandypodcast.com. Check out all of our candy codes for our partners. If you use any of them, it helps us. Or you could check out patreon.com/braincandy. That's where all our reality TV stuff is, interviews, live Q&As. It's a hoot and holler over there. Or just join the Candy Club if you want to hang out with us.
And we can just chit chat. And you can, I feel like every now and then we just have to have a meeting where we talk about things that we heard on the podcast or things that we talked about on the podcast that our listeners would like to chit chat about. Because I would love to just get together and hear what they say. Because we have a lot of therapists. We have a lot of people in education. Yes. Where I know they have so many cool things to say. And I would love to hear from all of you guys. So join our Candy Club. It is so much fun, for like literally the cost of a latte.
For real.
For real. Like Lincoln cheaper than Starbucks.
Annie Ann's pretzels and a drink and it was $14. I almost died.
I know. That's what. So like we are cheaper than your afternoon beverage for a whole month of fun and hilarity. So really treat yourself to things that will help your mental health, I think.
We'll see you there. We love you. Bye.
Bye.